Dom you.
Dom you.
Dom you.
Dom you.
Domination University. So this is Francesca, and I'm here at Forbidden Fruit Orchards with Sandy Newman and Lisa Marie. Welcome. Thank you so much for your time. I'm so excited to be on this amazing 100-acre farm, right?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's incredible. And I had the pleasure of meeting both of you actually in downtown Santa Barbara, which is one of my favorite places to go and just get out of the city for a bit. And I kind of stumbled upon the tasting room right off the main strip in
De La Guerra, off
Yeah.
of State Street. Mm-hmm.
And it's just absolutely gorgeous inside of there. I was so impressed with Sandy's passion for wine that I tracked her down at her farm, and I brought in all my gear. So Nick and I just went on a tour, and it's absolutely amazing. I want to hear more about what into this, I assume, labor of love to create, the wines that you have coming out of Cebada right now.
So I am going to help Sandy. I'm a good friend of Sandy's and try to be her somewhat promoter and marketer because I believe in what she's doing, not only being a female winemaker and doing it also a little bit older, later in her life. She came and purchased this 100 acres, and as she calls herself, the dirt girl. She has a background went through school, through college. Tell us your degree, Sandy.
I have 2 degrees, and from the University of Delaware. My first one is a undergraduate in plant science, and my second one is a master's in plant science. And I was offered a couple PhD programs as well, but I decided I didn't want to teach, and I didn't want to do research, and I just wanted to grow things, so I turned them down.
That's awesome.
So getting back to the dirt girl,
The dirt girl, yes.
That's what she wanted to do, and what her love and her passion is about. So she started figuring out what she wanted to do on the property. She was given some advice that blueberries would be great to grow, and she grows some of the most spectacular blueberries in, I believe, California, year-round, organic. Got to know her through first her wine, tasted it at a friend of ours party, and found a gal that was near my age, and it was a younger party. So we found each other, and she said, "Oh yeah, that's my wine." And I thought, "Oh, it's the wine you brought?" "No, it's the wine I made." And I said, "I'm all about supporting female winemakers and someone who makes the quality of wine that she makes, and so hands-on from beginning to end." So what she did was she got some advice regarding blueberries and how the revenue from the blueberries could support her. I think people would want to know, because I think her story is very interesting.
Yeah.
Being older, having that interest in her life and wanting to find the profitability from something on her farm that could then transfer to the love of planting a vineyard.
Yeah.
And so that's how she, from the blueberries is where she got the revenue to plant the blueberry, or the vineyard, sorry. And you started with both Chardonnay and Pinot Noir?
Yes, I did.
And 7 acres to start, and then a little from there, up
Yes.
almost up to 8.
Well, the front vineyard is 6.2 acres to be exact. And then I decided towards the back part of my property, more on a east slope, I planted about 1.5 acres of Chardonnay, because that front vineyard only had maybe 1.2 acres. And I planted a couple different clones, at least one different clone I did not have in the front that I really wanted, which was Wente. And then more recently, I guess 3 years, this would be the 3rd leaf this year, I planted Pinot Meunier on its own rootstock for my sparkling wine project.
I love it. Yeah, the first time I met you, I was so impressed with the wines, and then your explanation. I was like, okay, I've drank tons and tons and tons of wines in my life. This lady's on a whole nother level, and so, yeah, I love the passion more than anything, and just the fact that you're the dirt girl just makes it even better for me. I love that about you. How are you able to see this passion out though? Because I mean, other than just blueberries and stuff like that, was it really just your love of being out in the dirt, your love for growing things, or how do you feel about wine? Is it more of a passion for that?
Everything I do, it's all about growing it. That's the passion for me. It's out in the fields. My blueberries are it's grown out there, and you pick it and it's perfect. And that's what I strive for with my wine grapes as well, because if you get it perfect out in the vineyards or in the orchards, it makes everything else you do easy because it's already great. And less is more. If you can just put blueberries into a box and they're all beautiful and perfect and they have great flavor, you're done. And the same thing with wine grapes. If you can pick that perfect cluster and you've got great flavors and the acids are still there, and being this far west, we don't get the heat that burns the acid out of wine grapes, and we are able to pick it with that great acid base in it, which makes the wines themselves. I don't have to mess with it because the grapes are perfect. And that's what I strive for in everything I grow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
And you do that with your blueberries, with so many varietals she's chosen that are the best varietals to be in this area and come out year round, just gorgeous. I grew up in the Midwest where I had Michigan blueberries in the summer, and I had never found anything to compare to those Michigan blueberries. And when I tasted a few of her varietals, and I said, this is bringing me back to childhood, even down to her blueberry wine that is fortified like a port. But I tell people to swirl it in the glass. And when you get that nose full of the bouquet of her blueberry wine, it's like a fresh basket of blueberries. You would never know blindfolded that was a wine. And so she gets those incredible flavors from the quality of everything that she grows here. And that's part of what makes her everything she grows here, the fruits, the vegetables, so wonderful. And the wine it's the quality. And we could go on and on and on about the avocados, all the citrus, the mulberries. I hadn't had a mulberry for about 30 or 40 years. And many people have never had a mulberry in their life. And she's got beautiful mulberry trees here.
They look huge.
Yeah, that are, very grand.
Yeah, I think the blueberries alone is probably worth people coming up, booking a tour, at the orchards. And I'm from Pennsylvania, so I too am very particular about my blueberries. And I got to sample a few right off the little bush, and my gosh, so good. And going back to the wines, though, the bouquet and the wines, the nose and the wine, it has this level of freshness and just that purity. You can tell you haven't messed with it, and it seems so perfect. I was trying to get more information from her on the tour. I'm like, how do you do what she... And it seems like...
Secrets.
No, it doesn't really seem like it's that much of a secret, though. It seems like you take a minimalist approach to winemaking.
It's what you don't do.
Yes.
That's the answer. It's what you don't do.
Okay.
Don't mess with it.
Just grow it perfectly.
That's the trick.
Says the dirt girl. Very good, very good. So another thing that we had talked about when I was at the tasting room is you were talking about how some of the wines are really good for females because of just the anatomy. And unfortunately, I hate seeing this when, I think it's women can metabolize one drink every 2 hours versus a man who can metabolize basically one drink an hour. And these are the types of things that you think about when you're out with your man and you're deciding who's going to drive home when you've been having some drinks. But I, just getting older, I noticed how my body will change. You start to get a little bit more of heartburn here and there, or maybe, you're just sipping away at a bottle and then suddenly you're your brain isn't functioning as well as you thought it was going to be. Do you want to tell us anything about, just the different nature of the alcohol content and how it relates to, someone drinking it?
Well, when you pick the grapes, pretty much determines your alcohol level. It's the amount of sugars in those grapes. So when I'm out sampling and trying to determine when I'm going to pick, I'm looking at the TA, which is the total acidity, how much acid is in those grapes. I'm looking at the bricks, how much sugar is in them, and I'm looking at their pH, because those are the three major things in winemaking to make a good stable wine. And for me, it's all about picking those grapes when those sugars are still low and those acids are still in there. And that low alcohol for women is extremely important because, like you said, we can't metabolize it well. The other issue people have, and it's also with men as well, is they complain of having headaches, hungover, they don't feel well when they have even small amounts of wine. And a lot of that has to do with a lot of the sulfites that are in wines. And when you add sulfite to wine, you base it on the pH of the wine. So the lower the pH, the less sulfites you have to put in, because the wine itself is not going to let bacteria or anything grow in it. So when you're picking with all those acids in it and you have a nice low pH, you don't have to add hardly any. And I think in a lot of the bigger wines that people are drinking, the sulfites are high. And especially if they've been aged over many years, every 3 months they're adding more sulfites and more sulfites. And that is a lot of problems where women especially complain about.
Wow. Yeah, now that you mention it, I don't think I have been hungover drinking your wines.
And it is the European style, lower alcohol and more delicate.
Oh, yeah.
Delicate on the palate.
That's what you were saying. You were talking about in Europe how you can start drinking earlier in the day and you can continue drinking, where, I felt like those days were numbered for me at this point. That's how you know I'm getting older. I actually get interested in particular drink that has less alcohol, because you got responsibilities.
And I believe alcohol can take away from it, particularly if you have a delicate wine. You want to have all of those nuances, all of that complexity. You want to be able to have it from beginning to end. And if the alcohol is burning that away in your mid palate, you're not going to get all those wonderful notes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's very well balanced. It's been so enjoyable. We got to do a tasting right after the tour, and it's just very elevating to drink the wine. And I think it's just a combination, just the nice, light alcohol buzz, the nose, the bouquet, just the freshness. It's so evident, and I don't even have the best sense of smell, and it's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So what's your favorite thing about the wines you make, Sandy?
My favorite thing about the wines I make?
Well, you love to drink them.
But I like to drink French too. I think it's the challenge. I think every year, because I grow so many different crops, I can get bored. And when I make wine every year, it's every year is different. So it takes a lot more intellect. It takes a lot more planning. It takes that understanding what that year is going to bring, versus blueberries or other crops. They get sweet. You pick them. Everybody's happy. They've got good flavor. You're picking them at the right. But wine grapes, to make the perfect wine, is always the challenge. When do I pick this at? And maybe I want to blend that with this clone. It's just challenging, and you're looking at your numbers, and you're always hoping that, is this an early year? Is the flavors there? Is the profile I want in the grapes? And that's always the intellectual challenge you get from it.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like the story you just told us about your 2014 rosé. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and trying to top yourself, because you got let them hear it from your words, but the highest rating from Wine Enthusiast.
The first year I made a rosé, I actually didn't make it as a rosé. I made it as something else, and I decided that I couldn't make it for a sparkling wine that I picked it for, and I thought it tasted great, so I said, oh, I'll just bottle it for me and drink it. And I said, I'll just, make it a rosé. And I did, and I pretty much, when we're almost sold out, we only had like 10 cases left. About a year later, I had it rated by Wine Enthusiast, and we got editor's choice and the second highest rating ever given to any kind of rosé anywhere in the world by Wine Enthusiast.
Wow.
And that was a 2014. So I've been trying to reproduce that ever since. And every year I think I'm getting close, but I'm not. But I need to age, and that part of it is aging my rosés. Most rosés aren't aged, but mine are. They do need the time in barrel.
Wow. Yeah, we had one earlier. It was absolutely delicious. I love the artistry that's involved. It sounds like it takes a lot of intuition too, not just the intellect. To be able to, just feel it. Very good. So what else would you like to tell us about the winery or Forbidden Fruit Orchards?
Dog friendly.
We are dog friendly, and for children, they're more than welcome. It's just when you're on a farm, you have to be careful because it's not child safe. So you have to keep your eyes on them. But otherwise, it's very beautiful here. I would, be very interested in having people who are serious wine drinkers, who are looking for more French style, something different than what California wines are known for, who are, serious collectors, or just, really like to have these types of wines. I'd be more than happy to have you come to the farm to taste with me. Also, the tasting room is a nice place to be able to do that as well. And I do make a sparkling wine that's Method Champenoise. It is with Pinot Noir and Chardonnay blend. Every year I blend it a little different. We are now just disgorging our 2015. And I have planted Pinot Meunier, so in the next, hopefully, year or two, we'll start adding Pinot Meunier to that mix of our blend. But very pretty, very much in the French style. Alcohol, again, like most champagnes, 12.5 in that range.
And to top that off, she does incredible wine club parties here up at the farm, and she just goes all out. It's catered by one of our top caterers here in the Valley, and Sandy also will make some of her own special delights for people to eat, along with sharing her wine throughout the afternoon, and tours. Just so many different fun things that you cannot get just in a tasting room. The disgorging that she allows people to go do with her assistant winemaker. So you are toured down to that part of the production facility and get to disgorge your own bottle and keep that bottle for yourself. So it's something you can bring out at a party to friends and say, I disgorged this myself. So lots of different things that we're coming up with to also make it even more fun and different to come up to a true destination, on top of events that she'll be doing throughout the year, weddings and other events that she's going to start coordinating to provide to people throughout the world. Whoever wants to come.
Yeah, it was well worth the drive, and more so. And the tasting room also I thought it was just a really beautiful tasting room. It's, right off State in downtown Santa Barbara. What was the cross street you guys said?
De La Guerra.
I'm sorry.
It's De La Guerra Street.
De La Guerra.
Sorry.
So to find Cebada in downtown Santa Barbara, definitely make sure that you stop in there. But how can we find you on the website to coordinate a tour if they want to come out? And this is well worth a drive in beautiful Lompoc.
It's just CebadaWine.com and ForbiddenFruitOrchards.com. Both will take you to where you need to go. And then you need to send me an email because it's by appointment to come here. The tasting room is open now Thursday through Sunday, and we will have summer hours soon. We'll be back open more days.
Awesome.
And there is a Presidio neighborhood map that's available. A Presidio neighborhood map that is available that is a part of how many tasting rooms? 8?
And
In the group
restaurants, things to do, coffee shops, shopping, clothing, and we just have a nice little map of that whole neighborhood. It's about 2 or 3 square blocks, and we have to keep adding people because the area is just building.
It's growing. It's also right across the street of State Street from the main mall, Paseo Nuevo Mall. So it's in the heart of downtown Santa Barbara.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Lisa Marie, is there anything else you'd like to add about your passion for Cebada or your passion for the dirt girl and the fruits of her labor?
Just a obviously a love of wine that found a great friendship, and how much I respect what she's doing, and how much I support female winemakers in our valley. And I think we all do, which is incredible in this valley because there's such a collaboration between men and women winemakers, particularly around harvest time. You can see emails going out, oh my gosh, my pump broke this way, and everyone is coming to help each other, unlike some other areas where everyone keeps very separate. So there's a lot of friendship, a lot of supporting of one another that goes on in this valley that I love also. So it's a great place to visit just because of that part of how our community feels here.
Central Coast, what? Yeah. Love it. Great. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for your time. Thank you, Sandy, so much for the tour. And I'm so excited about my wine membership. I just got my shipment and I got the farm add-on. So I got some extra, just really delicious looking syrups and marmalades and a rosemary salt and stuff. And I just can't wait to dig in that.
Well, thank you for coming up and visiting with me today.
Thank you. All right. Signing off.
It's a wrap.